Welcome to DBFM Entertainment.
DBFM Entertainment. DBFM Entertainment.
Your brain is for show, man. Your brain is for show, man.
DBFM Entertainment.
Alright, so here we are in the Keys of Florida. A random trip designed by the brain.
Show man was included.
So how'd you come across this little spot?
So I just found this junk on Google Earth.
Found what?
So this is Lower Sugarloaf Key, and this is
That was just a random ass break in the bushes when you're driving down the highway.
yeah, pretty
You
much.
see it right there. Yeah, right behind me.
No signs or anything like that. We just found out that some people park there to launch during the day, and
We parked there for 11 days.
no problem.
No tickets, no flood, no none.
Just all off of looking at images on Google Maps and saying, hey, I think we could drive down there and do that.
So we're about to start here.
We're going to dip.
We're just getting out. We could barely lift that boat, that kayak right there. It's so full.
We could only slide them.
Everything, those kayaks are so heavy. It was so hard to pedal. We're going against the current.
Tide's coming in, we're going down.
So this is the first stretch we went across.
So obviously down in the bottom right there is where we parked. Came across here to this spit of land in the middle of the screen, and then came up what this creek is. This is 5 Mile Creek.
Right.
Cuts through this island or patch of land against the tide at this point.
And here's us enjoying a nice cigar.
Well, this was after only, like 30 minutes of paddling? We didn't know exactly what we had against us at this point.
No.
We knew it was tough so far, but, we're fresh into it. We're excited.
Naive, unaware,
2016.
but willing and able.
Look at his weave.
Look at all that hair.
Mangrove.
Damn. So we kept going through this creek. I want to say it was like a mile thick, maybe a half a mile. I really don't remember. We'll look. I'll put a little overlay in there. So we came out the left channel here.
It was a nice little canal, nice little cruise through
Yeah.
there. As you see here, surrounded by mangroves, little trees growing in the water.
It was just such a peaceful sound. Everything was relatively quiet except for just the sound of the water. At least
pretty
from my
deep.
perspective.
Yeah, it's pretty deep there. Maybe 8 feet.
But clear water.
The rest, in the beginning and once we get out of here, is only maybe 2 feet deep, as you'll see. But this was relatively deep. We saw some stingrays. It was nice. Should have put some more sunscreen on, as you'll see later in the video. So now we're out of 5 Mile Creek here.
Yeah.
Looks like we're in the middle of nowhere.
So you can kind of see above on the left on the screen there before my head got in the way.
Yeah, those are little patches of mangroves.
Yeah, so if you look at those two islands right there in the middle of the screen, then that long one to the right,
That's that.
that's
So
what
now
you're
you
looking
get
at on the map.
Right, and that's where we were. Just came out.
And we're heading like out there somewhere out there straight to the right. I think right in the middle of the screen was where we're going. I still don't know. It's just so big
And again, this is only a couple feet deep.
at this point.
See that pipe?
And yeah, we don't know what the hell that pipe is about.
You know, a little oil line.
That's fine.
That's weird.
Little secret little tap from President Bush. Gee. So our plan here was to hug the east side of these islands and kind of trace the chain so we could avoid some of what we thought might be deeper water because it was more exposed. We weren't sure what we were getting into. We didn't really know what the terrain looked like, so we were going to kind of hug those, and then from Mallory Key and Turkey Point just take this probably 2 mile stretch across open water. And then here was pretty deep. This was maybe 20 feet at most, 20, 25 feet, would you say?
We're starting to get tired at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
It was nice to come across this and see me taking a break.
Yeah.
It was extraneous.
This sandbar was like a barrier reef. Like we had to actually go past it.
This is our private
So there
island.
was a lot of times we were just scuffing the bottom of the boat.
Uh-huh.
But this was the first time we actually got out of the boat in like 5 or 6 hours of heavy paddling.
It was so tough.
The first spit of land.
It was so difficult.
We just felt like we were out in the middle of nowhere.
It's
And
fun, but oh my god. Look at me. Look at us.
what you got in your hand?
Almost on them last.
That's just a snack.
Ah.
There's a reason I'm hungry though.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it out there in the real
I'm so
world.
sorry for making you bring that rudder kit with, and the sail kit and all that. I used that one day. I'm sure that did not help. But I was like, I gotta get this out here. Like, what else am I gonna have?
Yeah, my paddles kept hitting it.
All right, I'll take that boat next time. You can have the other one.
But this was cool. As you see, there's nothing around. I don't know where the hell we are or where we're going, but this is what we came across. It's kind of how we do. Underwater view.
Which I definitely didn't know at the time that starfish was there.
Got a nice shot though. Sound like you're hitting a bomb.
What?
Boom.
That's underneath the hull. That's for sure, man.
FM.
So, like I said, we took that open stretch in the middle of the screen. That sandbar is what you see in the middle of the screen right now. So we kind of had to get around that like sandbar area to that channel.
This is beautiful looking.
Yeah.
Looks like art.
And then we took it up to Marvin Key, to the
Yeah,
south
you
side of
see
the
that.
island, and then we went around to the right because there were people there, and we weren't sure if we were supposed to be there or not. So we took the channel to the right, around, and then came to the north side channel of the island, and that's when we saw that little cove there. And that was the spot, man.
That's it. That was our home. And to over. Keep going to the right a little bit. That's the Gulf of Mexico.
Hmm. Actually, this is all the Gulf of Mexico.
Right. We're all right on the edge of the Gulf.
Yeah.
On a map, the Gulf looks like nothing, but when you're out there and you start getting pulled toward that thing, it's pretty scary.
Yeah. So this is like the tidal bar or whatever they call this.
You see our sunburns.
Yeah. So that's the Marvin Key right there. So there's like a little lagoon, and then yeah, there's like this like dead reef or something that goes out for a little bit to where these waves start breaking, and then you're in like that's the ocean.
Yep.
Or Gulf of Mexico Ocean, whatever.
So nice out there. First arrival, we didn't even know it was going to be here. We thought all these little mangrove islands would be habitable, but we only had one little patch of beach we were able to stay on.
Yeah, the rest
Luckily.
is just like intermingled like roots and vines and stuff.
And these people showed up, was it the day of or the day after? These other guys showed up and spent the night there.
Yeah, they stayed on the east side of the island. They showed up the next day. I think it was the next day at like midday they showed up and saw the tent. Like, you guys gonna be here a while?
Like, oh, yes.
11 days. We're gonna go to LZ1. Or,
Rocking the Master Key,
yeah. Master Crab.
Master Crab seminar, check it out.
Ice wild. This is that was the sandbar on the west side of the island. So this is kind of where everyone would hang out. The tide would come up during the day, go down during the day, and it would go up like 2.5, 3 feet at least.
Yeah, every day.
Something ridiculous.
And it did follow the moon. As the moon got more full, the tide came up higher.
Yeah.
It was interesting to experience.
There
We
was
heard
only-
about it, but then we experienced it.
And there was that one day we were camping there too where it actually got high enough and then nice. The tide got high enough and like actually washed over that bank right here in front.
Yeah, it got up to the tent.
Yeah, finally made it over that curve. We're like, oh, good thing we got hammocks.
We had a rat that came into our tent the first night.
Well, they'll see that later.
Oh, they will?
Well, they
Alright.
won't see it, but they'll hear about it.
Oh, okay. So you'd walk around here,
This was like our main area.
little trail, and then it came out to this sandbar here. And in the morning, that'd be all sand.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the day went, the tide would come up and get covered.
And it kind of looks the same, but this is actually the next morning. I think I did say that, so disregard what I just said.
It's nice.
Yeah.
This is what you wake up to every day. Walk out and
Palm tree right there.
find
Wait.
some horseshoe crabs laying on their back, and
Wake up at whatever time.
Yeah.
Find some live crabs crawling around.
yeah, throw them back in the water.
Palm tree right there. Nobody out here.
A couple stingrays,
Bongs.
a couple bong packs.
Doing drugs.
We heard some locals told us that there was a test atomic bomb near there, a cement-filled atomic bomb that had been dropped,
Mm-hmm.
and it was laying around there somewhere. Whether it was true or not, I don't know. That's what we heard. This is definitely the most luxurious camping
Yeah, definitely.
situation we've ever had. We've never had scrambled eggs.
We got a picnic table. It's got an umbrella with it. We've got, there's like 25, 26 cocoa waters. Yeah, we've got like 20 gallons worth of water.
Bacon.
Got dehydrated bacon, man. Dehydrated eggs. I mean, we were not struggling at all.
No.
We were,
Hit a vaporizer,
yeah, vaporizer, deep cycle battery, solar panel charger.
charging our phones.
People would come to the island and see us sitting here with this and ask, "Where are your boats?" And we would point to the ground there.
Did I do that when she gonna go right up? Did up.
I actually want to make a song out of that
We
Marvin Key song.
we've had dehydrated eggs in a bag, which involved in the
Blowing
meal,
around Marvin Key.
which was kind of not very good. But that was just homemade, dehydrated,
Mm-hmm.
made on the island, scrambled eggs. It was so nice. And these are mangroves.
Mm-hmm. And
Those-
we didn't want to take that channel at first because it was wet. Like, oh, I guess we can't go any farther. You'll see what we're talking about later.
Those branches are surprisingly sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty thin, but you can swing from them, and they don't even give. Stand on them, and
Yeah, they don't flex. They don't budge.
those little root branches, whatever you want to call them, they're strong. They were fun to swing through like Tarzan.
This just goes back here.
So this was our first time really exploring the island. So we were just literally trying to see where do these paths go, where can we go on this island. This was like our first day of exploring, and for the most part we were just hanging out. You know, we didn't really kayak around this day. We had had a hell of a trip the day before, so here we were just hanging out and just like, let's just
Relax.
hang out at home.
Yeah. We had planned to go from island to island,
Hmm.
or originally before we even
Yeah.
went out in the water, but
Camping at each one as we go.
like I said, this was the only, relatively speaking, habitable one.
And we got there and it was just perfect. I mean, there was nothing to be desired.
Yeah, no reason to leave.
According to everybody else, that was the right decision.
We hit it on the head.
Thanks, Google Maps.
They thought we found this in some kind of traveler's guide. Like this was a tour.
Yeah, they were a little unnerved at first.
Yeah. We were wondering, how'd you get here? How'd you find about this? Me talking like a Jamaican.
It's a natural place. This is where island be grown up. Island made by
Island.
yesterday. And now it is celebrate and then go walk
Jobby
around and
praise.
sing. Cha-cha, you say, give him praise. Walk out. Sun, cloud, cafe,
Nice, man.
everything. Ja.
Yeah, I thought I'd leave it in there because I think it's just a dope shot.
We picked a pineapple from the tree, from the trees that you had picked.
Fresh munch.
Fresh munch.
I definitely wish I would have brought goggles and a snorkel.
You never-
Yeah, and fishing bowls.
I would have just laid face down in that water for hours, just looking at all the little stuff.
I wish we caught that crab and ate him.
Little crab master right there. The locals were so confused why we didn't bring fishing equipment.
Yeah.
Whoa, there's another one. My bad, dude.
See, I mean, these crabs were all over the place.
Fresh
Like,
crab.
we could have
Kidding me?
eaten fresh crab
Fresh,
every night.
fresh. Not fresh at the restaurant.
So this is where we're gonna be making home for the next week, just over a week.
Find out.
Long ass paddle to get out there, but definitely worth every minute of the effort.
Glad it was habitable.
Certainly.
Didn't get sucked up in the sea.
So this is part one of a either 5 or 6 part series of the adventure at Marvin Key.
Stay tuned.
More coming out. Cash.
It's nice to go to bed with that every night.
Mm-hmm.
That's your schedule.
This was kind of our entertainment every night too. We'd always just stand there, staring off at the sun.
It's beautiful.
Marvin Key.